Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Brighter Shores live stream day 118, and we got a bit of an update, well an update on the update, so let's go straight to that. So as far as news from about an hour ago, the team is still working towards the release of Combat Rework Part 1 of 2. We have completed one of 2 current quests. Ready for launch. I am now working on my second quest. We are observing feedback from the beta and fixing many things. Patch maybe tomorrow, maybe. So I'm not sure if he means a patch to the beta branch or literally the update tomorrow. That's really unclear here. I assume this is an update to the beta itself. But if this is like something going like live, that's big. He did not clarify really at all. Are we streaming tonight? Yes, we will be streaming tonight as well in about 6 hours for good old Gems of War, as we normally do every Monday. It is still planned. Let me go double check if he actually mentioned in the comments there on the main post, because for whatever reason you can't on the other one. Is that the beta branch update or... Yeah, patch to beta or live? I know, that's what somebody is asking and no reply yet. Because those are 2 very different things. Like, absurdly so. But yeah, they haven't answered yet. But yeah, someone did ask it, but no reply has been given. Because those are 2 very absurdly different things. Like if that's the patch to the beta itself or the patch of the combat's finally coming out tomorrow. I assume it's to the beta, but I don't know, we'll find out when we're in the combat rework tomorrow. But no, I assume it's the beta that's being adjusted then. But who knows, it could be the live game. If so, we're not ready yet. There's a lot we still need to grind for. Today's goal, by the way, I didn't actually mention it yet. Today's goal, what are we trying to do? We are trying to go and get 208 Gather by gaining 0 XP for Gather today. This is mostly because we have a multi-step process to be able to do Gather again. This multi-step process includes doing Scout to like 207 while doing woodcutting. So they then could do woodcutting while doing Gather, so I can then do just Gather. But first, I gotta get all of the Scout with woodcutting done, with all the woodcutting with Gatherer done, so that I can go do Gatherer. So we gotta do a 3-step process before we can start properly training Gatherer again. And probably also do all the logs along the way, because why not? Not this stream, but you know, when we go and process them all. But we will get Gatherer done. Tomorrow we'll probably be doing whatever the beta and or update is. I assume it's just gonna be a beta update, but they didn't really clarify on the post on if it's to the beta or to the live game, but I assume it's to the beta, the combat changes that they're implementing. Otherwise, that was really quick. That means they would have taken all the feedback within like a week and implemented it and launched it live. But no, I assume it's just an update to the beta itself, though. In which case, we will mess around with it tomorrow, regardless of what's happening with it, if it does happen tomorrow. I'm already under XP bonus. Nice. No problem. Catch you later, Mark. But yeah, today is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. And honestly, all of it's pretty much going to be combat again. And then tomorrow, if we get to test the new updates to the beta, we'll be doing combat again. A lot of combat. Though combat rework would do that, doesn't it? Also, I misspoke the other day. When I said we were level 880 in the beta, we were actually only 860. But also, we don't really need level 1000. We mostly need around level 960-ish, 950-ish. So the number I thought we had is actually slightly lower, but the number we need is also slightly lower. Though after 1000, I probably would stop for a little bit. I mostly just need the other combat to go get mining up, so we can go do Tentacle properly again. For not, like, minus 40% reduced XP or whatever it's at right now. We do have our new shiny sword. Also, you know what happened the other day, too, off stream? I came back here to gain, like, half a level or whatever it was. And the very first kill, I got a longsword. A 197 longsword. Which means I've actually gotten 2 4-star drop from these already. A 197 longsword and a 197 throwing axe. Though, of course, we already had a 199 longsword made, so it is actually pointless to have, unfortunately. But a new thing for the pile, nonetheless. Also, we've gained almost no levels since yesterday, by the way. Didn't we end yesterday at 4,000 and now we're at 4,001? And most of that, I think, was just from the AFK activity. I think we gained like 1 stonemason since yesterday. We still got a bit of XP here and there, though. Like, did some of the logs that we had banked. Did some chef, though we're like teasing the bar at like 1,000 off right now. 7,000. Which is like 1 cooking contract. Oh yeah, I still have a cooking run. Should probably could do that at some point. Oh, so this should be the second to last day we ever have to kill these things. At least for a long while due to the new stripe system. Because I believe on our current stripe in the new system, we're right at the Windingos right now. So by the time I get slightly more combat before then, we'd be slightly past the Windingo. Which means we won't have to do it again for probably like hundreds of hours of combat. How the stripe system works after the rework. Plus, I'm not even doing any combat after we get to like 1,000 or so. At least not until wave 2. I say, how's Miles Yes doing on leaderboard? Actually, how are we doing? Oh, Beta's actually ended up passing us. We're all the way down to 14th now. We're slacking. I wonder what they're currently working on, the other two. Shuriken has been doing so many more levels than us recently. Though in all fairness, one of those days we literally gained 0 levels. Because we're going for every first time bonus. Which is horrifically bad EXP. Oh, they did do quite a bit more gather. They actually equaled out. Because I think we're both at 200. Or they were at 200 earlier. Now they're at 204. But yeah, the problem with training gather is you have to train so many other things first. Same as woodcutting. Like, if you want to get multi-skilling synergy on it, you need to have really specific levels for it at given level ranges. Which means you normally have to go out of your way to go train on something to be able to go train on something to be able to go and actually train it up. Multi-step process to be able to get there. Which is why 2-8 gather is taking so long. Like, 2-8 gather itself, if we did nothing but it, we could get done in like, what, 6 hours? Probably around 6 hours. The problem is getting it efficiently. Requires so many other levels to be at other level ranges, so it actually works out properly. And yeah, we're probably just dumping this into Carpenter. I feel like I've been putting a little bit too much into Carpenter, but I'd rather it be too high than not high enough. We do need to stop doing it completely after about 224, though. Once we get the next AFK activity for it. This is one of the only good AFK activities for all of Carpenter. The one that requires no supplies and prints infinite money. So from 224 to 233, we'd want to do only the AFK and nothing else. Then we can start doing logs again. Current AFK is Stonemason. I forget if we showed it at the beginning of the stream. I don't think we did because we're doing combat already. But yeah, I'm trying to get to 220 Stonemason so we can start training it again. Might even have to do limestone bowls because I have no way of training it other than dumping knowledge. And trying to get 13 levels off of just knowledge post 200 is a very long time. Even if we're doing merchant. Because it's almost 3 hours of merchant per level. Not per merchant level, but per, you know, a skill that isn't merchant post 200. Which means if we were to do that, that would be, what, 13 times 3, like 39-ish hours. We'd have to do, like, nothing but merchant for, like, 4 days. To be able to go from 220 to 233 Stonemason. Interesting strat. Oh yeah, there's a lot of multi-skilling you'd end up doing in the game. It's definitely not required to do it, but if you're going to be doing both anyways, you might as well. They're immune to cryo. Honestly, I don't even really mind enemies that are immune to cryo. Because Longsword just tears through them. You're not far from us? Nice. At Poplar's chestnuts right now? Nice. Are you dropping them all? Because Poplars are pretty far from a bank. I did end up banking all my chestnuts just because I need it for alchemy. But the Poplars I just dropped, other than a few for first time bonus. Are you banking them all? Ooh. Because that is, I did bank them in a little bit at a lower level range. But after looking at all the numbers, they are actually the worst tree in the entire game. When taking into account banking. I believe they're also only used by Bone Ray as well. And when it comes to Bone Raid only material, the only two that really matter a lot are Bone Spikes and Ash Plank. Bone Spike for weapon upgrades and Ash Plank for shield upgrades for every other class. As well as for Guardian itself. Because the other three bones are a lot more annoying to bang. Yeah, Suave into Bone Spike's really good. Oh, so I don't really have a particular goal to stream, by the way, other than number go up. Normally we have a really cut goal. Like, we are going to get this done today, and that is it. But it is impossible with how much time I have today to reach the goal I want. Because the goal I would want to do today, though there's not enough time for that I have available today to go do, is 207 combat scout. So that we could be done with scout, or, you know, having to kill specifically just Wendigo. Not done with scout, but done with at least Wendigo as part of scout. The problem with that is there's no way we're gaining that many levels today. Not with my amount of time available. Well, I have a lot of goals. It's just the goals I want to hit today are not obtainable. Yeah, honestly, I haven't burnt out on the game at all. I still wake up like every single day, like, ooh, almost like it was like launch day of Brighter Shores. Like, I still get just as excited for it. Well, it's because we've been pacing ourselves. We've still been playing a lot, but still pacing it. At this point, we have depleted all content, though. Other than to reach, you know, stretch goals beyond 200. But tomorrow, they'll have an update to the combat rework, supposedly, based on what they mentioned earlier. But, patch maybe tomorrow. Maybe. Soon TM. But, if we do end up getting that, we got a lot to go over. Because they're implementing every single change that people have been requesting of them. Well, I mean, not every single change, but, you know. They're going to be taking all the feedback, already have it implemented, and have it rolled out in the next day or two. Supposedly tomorrow, but it could be later. Yeah, the community manager honestly has been posting more than, like, Andrew Gower himself on his Twitter recently. Yeah, I know, Andrew Gower's just been busy coding the game. As well as the few people who've been helping him. He's been locked in his coding room and they won't let him out. Have I ever done SWE? What is SWE? I don't know what it is. Software engineering? No. I've tried getting into coding. Didn't work over well. I don't know, game development's definitely something that always interests me, to some degree. There's just so many different skills you need to learn if you're going to be doing it solo, though. Which you generally have to, unless you're, like, loaded on cash. Or part of a different company helping them with a certain role. Yeah, I haven't worked for someone else since, like, my entire adult life. I've been self-employed since, like, 19. In various ways. It has been, like, 12 years since I've had, like, a, like, quote-unquote normal job. But I haven't had an employer in 12 years. Though ironically, when I was the absolute busiest is when I made the most money though. Like during college. It was because I need the money to actually survive. I actually had to stop college midway through too. Just because I didn't have the money to keep going. Or, you know, without going into debt. Do I know Act Blue? No. I said, hello, Isabel. Welcome, welcome, Bob Wall. As I see, you've been filling up the guild in Gems of War. Thank you, thank you. Do you know if there's someone reserved for the final spot yet, or do I need to help try recruiting for that later tonight? Oh, you need help? Okay, thank you. I'll do it later tonight then. Not sure if we'll get anyone, but still do it. Yep, one of the 500 guard people is doing 200 all combat, looks like. Hey, that's something I'm still trying to do, assuming that... Also, thank you, Buggas! Yep, we did finally get 4K. Now to go get 5K. No, no time soon. It's gonna take forever, because after 3,600, it starts to slow down a lot. Which, how many people do have 5K right now? It can't be more than a few. Oh, only one person in the entire game is 5K right now. But yeah, 4,000 to 5,000 takes forever. Because the entirety of it is post 200. Almost guaranteed. Unless you're like Miles ES and did like 500 all to an entire chapter first. But generally speaking, all 4,000 to 5,000 is post 200 for most people. I don't know, Miles has been doing good. They still have a lot of things pre-200. I'm not sure if they'll take first, but they're definitely going to get a really solid second. Yeah, Chronopolis is pretty good for knowledge points. It's one of the reasons I've been waiting on it. I've been waiting for equipable potions. The way you do merchant is a lot better after equipable potions come in. That's why I haven't done like the 250 or the 322 merchant grind yet. I'm waiting for one of those 2 quests to give us a equipable potion. It hasn't been confirmed that they are, but one of them is almost guaranteed going to be, based on what they said in the past. They haven't confirmed it, but it's very, very, very likely. We just don't know if it's going to be the first quest or the second quest. Oh no, Bone Ray honestly is probably the worst one of the 3 to end up knowledging. I would say Smithing is the best, Stonemason is the second best, and Bone Ray is the worst. Just because of how good the AFK activities are. Every single passive for Bone Ray is really, 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 really good. Compared to Burn Money Smithing or Half Burn Money Stonemason. It's one of the few things that Bone Right really has going for it. Out of any production skills, it actually has the best passive activities in the entire game. So it's a really good passive target, but not as good for knowledge. You can still knowledge dump into it, just not as much. Or at least up to 200. Post 200 is not as valuable to put knowledge into. You still can, though, of course, if you're near a milestone. Oh no, Bone Right's not too bad. If you're going for 500 Woodcutting Carpenter anyways, you're gonna have so much Bone Right XP banked. It really comes down to if you want to, like, 500 all Hope Forest at any point. Or if you're just gonna be skipping it or something. And I feel like Guardian equipment, when trading comes out, is going to be some of the most valuable stuff. Due to the lower concentration of Guardians and most people's unwillingness to train it manually. Because every class needs it. I always joked about this in the past, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be true. Or at least partially true. That when trading comes out, 3-star Guardian gear will almost be worth more than 4-star Guardian gear. Because every single class needs that 3-star Guardian gear to upgrade their stuff. Whereas only Guardians will really need 4-star Guardian equipment. Like, obviously the 4-star stuff will still be more expensive, but barely. Compared to the ratio on other classes. But yeah, let's recall, they're not going to be doing any open PvP areas like that. Even when they mention when PvP is coming, it's not even going to be full loot PvP. It's going to be more of like a staking-like system for currency. Also, I'm not sure how that's going to work with Iron Man players. It's kind of interesting that PvP is coming up before trading. Because that means, how's that going to work? Because that tech, I didn't realize that till just now. That means Iron Man players will be able to do PvP. Oh, hello, MK Jets. Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. Wait, I didn't think about that till literally just now. They mentioned that PvP is coming before trading. But for that to be true, that means Iron Man players can stake currency somehow under the PvP system. I didn't think about that. How's that going to work? How's that Iron Man mode? Do they just not have Iron Man mode then? Because I didn't realize that till literally just now. Because PvP is coming before trading. Which means whatever stake-based system they have means Iron Man players can partake in it fully. Or at least partially. As PvP is coming out before trading. But that means PvP is coming out while every player is considered an Iron Man player. Isn't there UK laws against staking? Well, it's not staking in a traditional sense. We don't know exactly how they're setting it up. Also, can I grab my item, please? There we go. Oh, come on. It's untuned. Can't wait till after the update where we don't have to worry about this anymore. I gotta do it, though. It's such an upgrade. It's the only piece of gear that we don't have at 3-star right now. Or higher. Not like we really need the defense, but I will when we go to Goblin. Speaking of which, let me go do a test Goblin right now. I kind of don't want to kill them because I need the trees. But, let me go do a test Goblin real quick. We should be fine. Like, maybe one heal and we're good. Especially if we can get all 4 axes off. This fight right now is with that one less axe throw. That should be fine. Yeah, generally whenever I do woodcutting carpenter, I go back and forth. Like even right now, prior to the stream, our entire carpenter bank was emptied. I always make sure to keep up with it pretty often. Just so if we dump knowledge into carpenter, it gains the maximum amount of effect. The only exception for this is going to be when we hit from like 224 to whatever it was, 233. Because we need to maximize the AFK activity there. While it's not horrible. But in a second we get past that level range again, we start running everything again. Though, we're almost done with Hope Forest for a while. I just need two... Oh, actually, technically I need an even higher scout, but the next thing I do scout on doesn't multi-skill at all. Because we're basically stuck at goblins for the rest of the time, so no multi-skilling at all. And I'll probably go to like 219, 220 or something. So, not counting scout, yeah, all we need is 2-8 gather, probably get to 210 just so we have some banked. 2-8 woodcutter, once again, probably around 210 just so we have some banked. And then carpenter would stop at 233. And maybe slightly higher, because we'd be walled off based on, not having the logs. Because we're stopping at around 210 woodcutter. At least for now. But that's where our levels will likely stay for a while for this chapter. 210, 210, 233-ish. And trolls, so now you get levels higher than us, oh gosh. Well, probably not going for too long today. We're probably only going to go for 2-3 hours total. Monday stream's always a bit shorter. But tomorrow we're probably going for a while if they're doing the update tomorrow. Supposedly they're trying to get out the update tomorrow. We don't currently know if they mean the update to the beta branch or the update to the actual live game, but regardless what it is, we'll be doing it a while. Those are two very different things, and they still haven't clarified which it is. I assume it's to the beta branch. I highly doubt they would do that to the live game already. After only a week. not sure why. I got a random cough again. Didn't bring out those billion cough drops from earlier. We had it really bad in October. I got like 3 whole things of cough drops. Already went through like 1.5 of them within that time. I think it's mostly just seasonal allergies though. Like the slow transition from winter to spring. But I think at this point our goals get to like 203 combat. It's almost like 203 combat and 203 woodcutting at the same time. Yeah, that'll be our goal, I think. Because they seem close enough that we could do that. 203 combat, 203 woodcutting. If we're not there yet, we'll need to go and do some woodcutting with Gatherer. Which, hey, we actually do get some Gatherer XP today. I think the title said we're going to be gaining 0. The main reason for that is I have to keep doing these pines till 207 combat. That does not get us to 208 woodcutting though. I need to not just spam the other method, otherwise we'll gain too much woodcutting XP. So I gotta cash out all the woodcutting XP we get from combat before I do woodcutting on its own. There's the whole reason why we're doing it in this order. Is I gotta get all the value from woodcutting while doing combat before I go get all the Gatherer XP while doing woodcutting, so that I can then go do Gatherer. This is why we're in this whole chain. Which is the first part of the chain doesn't gain any Gatherer XP. But the second part does. And then the third part is literally just doing Gatherer. We want to minimize how long we have to do just Gatherer. We don't need the supply. The supply's XP rate is not the greatest. I mostly need it for the alchemy XP more than I need it for the Gather XP. Not that we don't need Gather XP, but you know. In a sense, that's slower Gather XP than other methods, but I need the material that we get from it. As well as the closer proximity to a bank. Otherwise, we'd just be dropping stuff on the ground. Because that's the other alternative right now. Is like do Goat Horn, but just drop it all into the ground. Instead of Dandelion. So it's better overall value to bank Dandelion. But it's worse Gather XP per hour. But more overall XP per hour. Yeah, let me go refresh again to see if he's clarified yet. Nope, still no clarification. I think where else I could check. He still hasn't clarified what he meant by the update tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be today's end goal then. 203, 203. I think that's some of these clean numbers to go for. Because you always gotta have a goal. That's a good goal to go for. It's not the end goal we want, but it's the end goal that is realistic to do today. With our time to allocate. And of course, off stream, I'll still be grinding. Also, I still haven't finished out the banks, by the way. Every single bank has been completely emptied except for my alchemy bank and my smithing bank. Smithing bank has about 1,500 iron ore, and alchemy bank has a ton of alchemy supplies. I want to say almost like 30 hours worth. I've been chipping at it slowly. And I guess technically we do have stone in our stone bank, but I can't use it till 233 stonemason, so it's kind of stuck there. Also, one other side grinder we really got to get to. 226 Fisher. It is going to be like 2 days of nothing but Fisher whenever we do get around to it. But I kind of want to stop doing the mining venture after we have 262 mining. And focus on, you know, just actual real mining. Because we have 3 really good mining activities back to back to back. It would also start getting to the point where the 231 venture isn't nearly as effective. Compared to, you know, lower level range. Because its EXP rate doesn't go up. It does at 380. But the one from that activity doesn't go up. So by around that point we would need a new activity. And that's where fishing comes in. Because yeah, we got a triple back-to-back-to-back good rock. For that name, for all of our best in slot for Cryogonite for all the way to 2,000. Granite for a bunch of easy stonemason XP right next to a bank. And then Adathrils for absurdly good smithing XP. That's about a bunch of best in slots as well. It's just everything under Adathril right now is not currently that particularly meta. But after special attacks, it probably will be. A lot of it's kind of just like utility junk at the moment, but when they all have special attacks, there's probably going to be some pretty good stuff in it. We got our only green weapon there. We got our Necromay hard-hitting battle axe thing. We have one of the shield types if the 3 shields ever have a big difference compared to each other. Because right now, every shield is pretty samey. I assume down the line they're going to have a big difference. Particularly by the time maybe Armor Maker comes out. Maybe it'll be more distinguished. Particularly the sets of armor that you have. Like the differences between them. Because right now, all armor is pretty samey. But I assume by Chapter 5 that would be changed. So that all 3 shields in both the 2 armor sets have a little bit more uniqueness compared to each other. Potentially even having a special effect for 4-star all. So I'm in all-in focus mode. I can't wait till we have, you know, like buttons here that do something. I want these so bad. Come on, 4-star weapon, do your 4-star spec. Soon. Give it like a month or 2 or 3. We will have you. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah, 203, 203 will be our goal then. I'll probably grab dinner. But you know what I'm in a mood for? But I've been trying to eat them so much less. Because the price right now. But scrambled eggs with ham sounds so good right about now. Just like breakfast for dinner. We're trying to cut down back on eggs for the obvious reason these days. At least in America here. Not sure about the rest of the world with it. And I've still been eating it here and there. It's a lot less than I normally would. Now it's almost like a luxury item. But it's insane how much some things have gone up in price, just in general. Like, it started, like, right at pandemic time, and then just has never stopped going up since then. I just realized we're almost 201 all. I think Mousy S was joking about the other day that we should go for like 201 all and then 202 all and go from there. But we're almost 201 all. Like, Chef's basically done. The only two are Fisherman and Mindfighter. Mindfighter will probably be a while because I want to do ideally all Scout first if we can. No pork roll? No, I don't have any pork roll at the moment. Well, it's because I've been trying to cut down on eggs. So I haven't been doing pork roll, egg, and cheese. So there hasn't really been a need to get pork roll. Because I'm not going to make a pork roll and cheese. You kind of need the egg component. But pork roll's also pretty expensive in this area. It's not a commonly stocked meat. You have to go to like specialty places to get it. It's not like somewhere's like New Jersey where you can walk into almost everywhere and get it. Aside from a few specialty meat places, almost nowhere sells it here. That does sound pretty good though. I haven't had it in a while. I have had it since I've last been in New Jersey though. But it's still been a while though. Like a good 4 or 5 months. I think September was the last time I had it. So I find it funny whenever one of those things are over top of the butterflies. It looks like they have some kind of decay effect around them. But it's actually just the silhouettes of the butterflies that they're over top of. And now they turn back to butterflies. Any second now. There they go. And now they're a little decay effect again. I'm pretty sure that's completely unintended, but it's really funny when it happens. Hey, I remembered to drink a 7% potion for once. It's a miracle. I actually remembered. Hello, Tyrion! Welcome, welcome. Did the event from last weekend end, or is it still going? Because if you guys still need help with it, let me know. I ended up just doing it in a public lobby with randoms. And just mash-clicked A until we won. The strategy I normally do whenever we don't do it together. Just find a random lobby and just mash-click A, AFKing. 16 hours of Pokemon Go event? Oh gosh. But I've still never tried Pokemon Go. I actually haven't tried any Pokemon mobile game other than, I guess, technically Pokemon Unite. I mostly played it on console, not on the mobile version. Tyrion, Tacit did the raid without us? I can still do it with you guys. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it because I had no clue when the end date was. I can still do it with you guys. I just wanted to make sure it didn't expire. You sent me the details? Okay, I'll go check it later. So are we doing that later tonight then? We're streaming Gems of War later tonight, but then after that I can, if it's still around. So go check it now. If you don't know, it's because I didn't read. Oh no, I don't read the in-game events. You're basically my only way of knowing. You're how I keep up with like 90% of Pokemon news. Oh, you meant your previous message. I thought you sent a new one. I see what you mean now. But yeah, I didn't fully read it. I didn't realize I had all the details on it. The thing you sent me earlier. Yeah, I saw the thing. I just didn't realize I had all the dates on it. I see what you mean now. A green murder kitty. Honestly, the kitty wasn't that hard. The Meowscarada or whatever it's called. I'm not sure what the meta is, but I end up just running Torkoal. That one, like, fire turtle thingy. It seems to be resistant to pretty much everything she does, and it seems to be mostly just physical attacks anyways. And it's really physically bulky. It's kind of funny. I already had one made because I had one made for competitive. Because season 1 of Scarlet and Violet, it was actually kind of meta. So we already had one pretty much exactly the build we needed. So I didn't even need to go out of my way for it. Wait, is it 2 times weak to bug? I thought Terra type Pokemon keep the type of whatever they change to. Because I'm pretty sure it just counts as grass, which is only, oh, never mind. That's also 2 times weak. Never mind. I thought you said 4 times. But yeah, you're right. It is 2 times weak. Normally she's 4 times weak to bug, though. It was kind of funny. Meowscarada in Season 1 of Scarlet and Violet was so weak to Bug-type moves that some people were running U-Turn, which is a Bug-type move, on like random Pokemon just to one-shot Meowscarada. Because they would train it so that it would be within one-shot range of most of its builds. I found that really funny. Normally that move is never used to kill a Pokemon, just to switch your Pokemon. But it's so weak to bug types move that it was actually within kill range. What was the update on the update? Hello, Roki, I mean. This right here, from Finn Samuel. The team is still working towards a release of Combat Rework Part 1. We have completed one of the 2 current quests. Ready for launch. I am now working on the second quest. We are observing feedback from the beta and fixing many things, so they're currently doing that. But they also mentioned patch maybe tomorrow. Maybe. That's the big one. But, yeah. I assume they mean the beta patch. They didn't actually specify, but the beta should be updated tomorrow. Maybe. Supposedly. But if it is, then yeah, we're going to be streaming that for probably a couple hours tomorrow, plus whatever we're normally grinding. But I assume they mean a patch to the beta, not to the actual game. It wasn't clarified, but I assume it's a beta patch, not a main game patch. Though it might be a main game patch too, but I don't think it's the final day of the combat rework. I think they're just implementing a bunch of stuff into the beta and then having us test it again. To get feedback on the feedback. Yeah, that should be up hopefully in the next day or two. Supposedly, potentially tomorrow. And that's be the first thing we do tomorrow, so... around noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And right now we're just going for 203 combat and 203 woodcutting since it's a bit of a smaller stream. A little bit of a smaller goal. But tomorrow we gotta do a lot if they're doing the combat beta again. There are several things I want to check. The biggest one being what are they changing about alchemy and raid dens. Those are the biggest 2 things I want to go recheck. Raid dens and alchemy after the rework. Or the rework. Because those are the 2 things that are getting either... I think those are the 2 biggest ones. They're either getting nerfed into the ground or buffed so much that there's no way they're actually doing it. So I have to wait and see. Because raid dens are becoming basically useless, dead content. And alchemy is becoming a free skill that you profit from. All the way to 500. So we'll see what changes they make to fix that. To make raid dens actually useful and to make alchemy not a profitable skill. Though technically it is profitable once trading comes out, but you know what I mean. Like they made some potions way too cheap to buy. To the point you would never gather supplies of them. Oh, where am I going? I need my logs. Yep, no problem. Yeah, I assume they're going to be adjusting raid rates. I don't think they're going to stay as nerfed as they currently are in the beta. Nor do I think alchemy is going to stay the way it currently is in the beta. What else gets changed? I'm not quite sure. But those 2 things I'm pretty sure are going to get tweaked. To be a little bit more neutral than they currently are. Because currently raid dens are mega nerfed and alchemy is mega buffed. At least from a buying from shop perspective. But I assume they're going to be balancing both of them with the changes and a few other things as well. Just gotta wait and see. Presumably they'll be posting a change log with it, so we'll know everything that they adjusted. But yeah, whatever changes they do end up doing to Chronopolis raid dens, I'm pretty sure you're not going to camp it to 2000. They're likely buffing it from what it is now, but it's likely still going to be really unrealistic to camp all the way from like level 100 to 2000 Chronopolis, or you know, combat off of just raid den. Like you theoretically could, but you never would. But whatever they're doing is likely going to be adjusting a bit of the in-between levels and everything. Because the two higher raid dens definitely got to be scaled way higher level than they were in the beta. I understand the lower one still kind of being like that middle lower range. Because to my understanding, the way that was originally supposed to work is it was supposed to take the lowest from your stripe. So let's pretend this was our stripe for Chronopolis right now. What it should have done is taken 194 and then added 219, which is the raid den level. And then that would have been the combat level of what we would have faced. But it's not what it ended up doing. Because if that was to happen, that means at level 880 combat or so that we're at right now, our raid dens would be around level 700 or 800 if they were to implement that change. The only problem with that is that some level ranges, they will be way too strong for you to take. Like if you just got to Chronopolis on your stripe. Because then they're going to be like hundreds of levels higher than you. But they'll find some kind of way to balance it. What was the update? There's been no update. There's just been an update on the update. Bring it up again. But just so I don't read all of it again. We are observing feedback from the beta and fixing many things. Patch tomorrow. Maybe. Maybe. But patch tomorrow on the beta. Or assume on the beta. Who knows? Maybe it's a live game. But yeah, they're going to be doing an update to the beta server. Likely tweaking a bunch of things. Or it could be the live server. Who knows? He didn't specify. I'm like 90% certain he's referring to the beta server, though. He did not actually specify it, though. So who knows? Maybe combat rework tomorrow. Highly doubt it, though. It's definitely a beta. He just forgot to specify. So we'll have to wait and see. But we'll definitely go over it tomorrow. It just hasn't hit yet. But supposedly tomorrow, maybe. But definitely sometime soon, if not exactly tomorrow. So how am I almost out of heal potions? I've had these 20 for like 5 to 10 hours of combat, and we're almost out of them. Because we're at the level range where we shouldn't really be losing to anything. Yeah, we still keep losing to some things. Like, we're 5 levels ahead of this thing. And pretty much full 3-star plus armor. And it still wins occasionally. This is why we need special attacks in skill tree already. Definitely gotta min-max out these builds down the line. Because even distribution does not work over well. Yeah, Chino, how goes the grinds, by the way? We were looking at Miles ES earlier, but you've been doing really high as well. Rank number 8. I think we're about to fall back down to 14 for something. Shuriken already passed us. BTEZ is planning on passing us again. You're living in the dens? Nice. Are you going all the way for 500? Are you that worried they're going to nerf it? Because we're probably going to know as of tomorrow if they're actually nerfing raid dens or not. Because they're likely going to be adjusting alchemy, adjusting raid dens, adjusting whatever else they're doing. So we'll know after the update that's happening in the next day or two if they are or aren't. So you might not have to panic train detective. Or at least we'll have the answer to it hopefully tomorrow. If so, I might join you. The only problem with me panic doing detective is I need to get to 315 so I can get to 344 before I can do it properly again. And it has so many levels. It's not even counting whatever I would need to get for Watch Person. It's just not really realistic for me to panic do Detective at the moment. Because by the time I'm set up to go do 44 raid dens, the patch will probably already be here. You should be 400 tomorrow? Nice. Our goal for today is to get 203 Scout and 203 Woodcutting. And off stream, I'll be continuing this. Ideally to 207, though I'm not sure we'll be able to get that many off stream. But we might be able to. It's like a level every 2 hours, roughly. A little bit quicker than that, but let's say every 2 hours. When accounting for woodcutting and banking and everything. We're getting to 203 right now. That's like, what, 8 hours? Might be able to get that done off stream before next stream. 8 hours between now and noon stream tomorrow. At that point is when we can shift over to Woodcutting Gatherer. And after Woodcutting Gatherer to 208 Woodcutting is when I could finally go do Gatherer only. And if we really wanted to be macro efficient, which I 100% am not going to be doing, after we get 208 Woodcutting while getting Gatherer to like 205 or 206, we should technically then go get Gatherer to level 264. And the reason I say this is, the next tree we have to do is, what's it called? Hickory. And when doing Hickory, it's really good value if you have the better Tangle Fruit. Are we going to do that just to do that? No. Down the line, yes. In the immediate future, no. I'm just going to grab like several hundred of the logs or however many we want. Maybe like a few hundred. And then bail. But when we do seriously go post 208 Woodcutter, like post 210 or so, I actually do want to have 264 Gatherer by then. Because it does a couple things. If we ever want to do Poplar, we can do Thistle while doing it. If we ever want to do Hickory, we could do Tangle Fruit while doing it. Whenever we go to Pines, we could do Red Clover on the ground. There's a lot of synergy there. And all that would eventually get us to a free Bone Spike. And that Bone Spike lasts us for up to over 2,000. This goes to like 2,200 or something. For 4-star gear. And that's actually really important to have before... After the after the second combat rework, but before Chapter 5, I want to ideally have every skill needed to make from scratch 4-star level 2,000 gear. That's basically what every single one of our goals is going towards right now, by the way. And just some wide scaling for various things. But there's two things I want before that update. Level 1000 combat. And the ability to, from scratch, make 4-star level 2000 gear. Are the two biggest goals I want to have before the final combat rework. So that we could just do literally just combat all the way to 2000. Oh yeah, that reminds me. You know what else I have to get done before that patch? Wow, we gotta get so much done before then. By the second combat rework, I also need to have every level I want for Stonewall Hill. Which means like 322 Merchant and at least like 300-ish Leatherworker. Because there's not going to be that much time between us getting, what would you call it? Between us getting 2000 Combat and Stonewall Hill releasing for Chapter 5. If we can even get that in time, there's going to be almost no time in between. Like maybe a week, 2 weeks. Not even. Which is barely time to train anything. Post 200. Is this the, even though we know when everything's coming out, we don't know the time frame between when things are coming out. Like, we know Chapter 5's coming out after the final combat rework, but we don't know the amount of time between those two times. Like, at all. Could be a week, could be a month. But yeah, it does look like I'm gonna have to go out of my way for some wood cutting this stream. Which means, hey, we do get a gather XP. We get to do the thing. We get more than 0 today. Fairly low. I just want to try not to overshoot it is the reason I don't want to do too much of the activity. We're definitely going to do some amount of it, so we might as well do some of it now. There's no way we're going to overshoot it with only like an hour, a few hours of it. If we did it for several hours, we could overshoot it. But an hour or two won't kill it. But we won't even need to do it that long. Even like half an hour of it's already going to be more than enough XP. For 203, 203 for now. Then we shift to 207, 208, 208. And then we can start doing each of them separately as we need. Because then woodcutting we can do in isolation. Then gather we could do in isolation. And combat we could do in isolation. But not until then. So it feels so weird for most activities that you need to train on a 197 at the start of post 200. There are so many skills in that exact category. Where the first thing you have to do post 200 is just spam the 197 activity. And almost every single thing. It's like, yep, 197, time to do post 200. Until you get to an actual, like, post 200 activity. I don't think there's a single skill in the game. Actually, no, there are a few. Where, like, the thing you get is exactly at 200. Like here with the pine pole at exactly 200. Like, it's almost always an activity right at, like, 197 or something. Very rarely is it, like, right on the 200 mark. And if it's above 200, it's normally, like, way above 200. Like, 206, 208. Hello, Yusef. Welcome, welcome, Hobosman Wall. Have I been doing today? I've been doing decent. Did Chino take a break? I don't believe so. I believe he's just been AFK and raid dens the whole time. Probably just AFK really hard. I definitely slightly overshoot the raid dens whenever I do them. I think whenever I do AFK raid dens, I probably waste like 5 minutes an hour, if not 10 minutes an hour. Just because the activity you very rarely do particularly actively. Also, speaking of AFKing something forever, we did finally start back old school RuneScape, just the free-to-play side. And since then, we've gotten 308 tickets since yesterday. We got 308 Castle Wars tickets. Or sorry, 108 more. So we're making good progress. At 400 of these, aka 800 total because of the boots I'm wearing, we technically have everything for the collection log. After that, it's trying to get the full golden outfit. Which I think we need like 4,000 something for. We only need 800 for the collection log. But we're going to be way overshooting that because I don't plan to buy membership again for a while. Though they did announce some pretty juicy things. Apparently sailing's coming this year. Like, not a beta test for it, like literally the actual skill. They're adding like a few new cool bosses. They're adding a whole new region. Or the third part of the final region, I should say. Yeah, they got a couple juicy things coming around. But for now, I'll be ignoring everything that they do. And wait till they actually add more content. And just do all the content at once. Yes, hello, Huckleberry Dude. Welcome, welcome. Where did a post say about updates? Is that in the Discord? I'm not sure if they posted in the Discord. The one from today I found on their X of the community manager from Fen Samuel. I already talked about implementing the feedback into the beta. That the patch will be out maybe tomorrow. But I'm not sure everywhere where they post it. Because I haven't actually really used the Reddit or Discord much since launch. But normally I just check the community manager or the lead developer's X page or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. I guess normally where they eventually drop stuff. I assume the Discord and Reddit would have it pretty often too. What do I think of the game? You're only like 80 hours in and you're ecstatic, having a great time. Oh yeah, I've still been enjoying as much as day one. I've been having so much fun with it. We have been hitting a little bit of a grind wall since we just got 200 all max a few days ago. But I've still been enjoying a lot. And they're making a lot of progress on the game. Mostly reworking combat at the moment. Then they're releasing 2 new quests finally. And then doing the rest of combat. First wave is merging all the combats and doing a few other tweaks, and the second wave will be adding special attacks in the skill tree. You're crying Knight. Do you actually need to grind Stonemason and Bone Right? Kind of. After you complete out the quest Lost and Found, you get the ability to combine one of each piece of gear from all 3 classes into a 4-star piece of equipment. So 3 3-stars into a 4-star, using 1 from each class. So to some degree, yes, you do actually need the other 2. And even more so after they add special attacks. Because special attacks will only be available on 4-star equipment, and eventually 5, but there's no 5-star equipment yet. But it's only going to be available on 4-star equipment. And to be able to make your own, you have to have Lost and Found completed and have the components from the other 2 classes so you can actually go and upgrade it. So while they are lower priority, they are still required to make 4-star gear, aka special attack weapons in the current state of game, or soon to be current state of game. Like a couple months from now or whenever they get around to it. So yes, you do need it, but it's less of a priority than your main production skill. But they're still needed. If you're going to be enabling trading, they're a lot less needed though. But trading's not coming for a good like 3 to 5 months at the current rate. Yeah, Stonemason is for Hammer Mage, Blacksmith is for Cryo Knight, and Bone Right is for Guardian. But you still need 1 piece from every class in order to make a 4-star equipment for any of them. And then just averages the level of all 3. Yeah, you definitely want to get the quest done. Anything beyond that is questionable if you would need it or not. Especially if you're going to be enabling trading down the line. As with trading, you really only need to train 1. But without trading, if you're staying Iron Man mode once trading does come out, it's definitely highly advised to train all 3. I do plan to enable trading, but I still want to be able to self-sufficient them when we can. Am I going for 500? Yes. I'm going for 400 all for now. Slowly over time. Because that's all we're going to need prior to the second combat rework. But by the second combat rework, I do want to have... or not between the second, but by the time Chapter 5 comes out, I want to have 500 all. But for the first combat rework and the second combat rework, the first combat rework, it doesn't really matter what we have. And by the second combat rework, where they're going to be doing special attacks and merging... I mean, not merging, giving us skill tree. By that point, I want to have 400 all here. Because I want to go get 2,000 combat. And when Chapter 5 comes out, we'll get 2,500 combat. Though despite saying that, that's not going to be the first grind I go for in Stonewall Hill. I don't think it's going to be a 2,500 combat rush. It's more so going to be trained Stonewall Hill rush. Because we're eventually going to need a really high armor maker level. Like, technically, the second you walk into that chapter, you're going to need, like, bare minimum, like, 200 armor maker. If not more, depending on your level. Because the way that crafting works, after the rework, the first one, is all crafting does 5 times higher than its current number. So if you have a 200, that goes all the way to 1,000 out of 2,500. But yeah, eventually I want to get 500 all and everything in Mines of Batubin. As well as for Chapter 5. That's a really long-term goal, though. I honestly just hate the concept in this game currently of getting any 500. Just because you stop gaining any benefit from it after that. Or, you know, at least XP-wise. I don't think it'll be as bad for some production skills, though. Because if I'm making a weapon I really, really need, but I'm getting 0 XP for, you know, smithing, I wouldn't really mind that too much. But I feel like in other situations, that'd feel like a waste. Well, the main thing is, trading on their long list of things that they're going to be doing in the near future was like the last thing on the list. And one slight problem that has is that basically everyone, well, not everyone, but there's going to be like dozens of people who can craft level 500 4-star equipment by then. Obviously not like an insanely high number, but definitely some amount. Also, hello, Brighter Shore Central. Welcome, welcome. How goes the grind? What's the plan post 200? 500 all. No, just kidding. But main plan right now is to prep for all the updates. Right now we're trying to get some combat in, so around level 1000 by the time the combat merge happens. Then after that, we're pivoting to like 400 all Mines of Batubin, so that after they do the second wave of combat rework, we can go have level 2000 4-star equipment. And then after both of those, we're mostly prepping for Stonewall Hill. But yeah, basically every grind we're doing is grinding for an update. Or initially we're wide farming for the merge right now. Trying to get our combats up in every zone other than Chronopolis. Maybe I do some raid dents too, they're pretty chill. But trying to get the other 3 combats up mostly while multi-skilling everything. Well, and then we're going for 400 all Mines of Batubin. Because oddly enough, I'm probably doing almost no combat after the first combat merge. So into the second combat merge, I'm really starting combat again. Am I working on 500 alchemy? Yes. I am working towards 500 alchemy. It's actually dictating a lot of my grinds, actually. Because I keep doing it with the gathering resources as well. I'm probably not going to do that all the way to max. I really got to see what they end up doing ultimately with alchemy and the combat rework. Because right now they made it really, really broken, but I assume they're going to balance that a little bit. But, where am I going with this? But, yeah, basically I'm dictating it based on what we're grinding. So, like, right now we're doing Forager to 208, which gives us a bunch of supplies for the Fear Potion. Then we can do Combat Mines of Batubin, which gives us the supplies for this. Or just combat in general under the new system. But, under the new system, depending on how they price it, you might just be able to buy this from the shop. Then after that, we can either go down the Forager route or the most likely route. Well, I'll just go even further into Gatherer. Because I need the better Cryopot, so I might as well go for the better one. Then after we go to this one, we could probably just AFK a couple of them. And then, I'm not sure what we're doing about these, though. Everything after 277 is a question mark for when it comes to alchemy right now. Because there isn't a good way to gather everything beyond that point. Because we're talking way too high of a level for almost everything beyond that. Worst comes to worst, we could always AFK potion them all, but then I don't have an AFK activity. Because this AFK potion is good, this AFK potion is good. That's just free. This AFK potion is good. Particularly after the update. This AFK potion is the final forensic, so I guess that's fine. The problem is getting all the way back to Mines of Batubin again. We can start getting the easier potions. Because that just requires doing combat. Doesn't require like having like 400 in a skill or something. You simply just have to do combat in Mines of Batubin. Yeah, the problem with a lot of alchemy, like really deep, is it costs too much. Like from a price perspective, I'm not sure how I do anything other than passives beyond 277. Like this is like the final potion you can realistically gather for. Unless you want to go get like 400 Forager, like 400 plus Forager Gatherer. Like this is like the last like easy to obtain potion. If you're going to get it from scratch. Not counting the Mines of Batubin potions. But from like a Forager Gatherer level perspective. It's like the really last like somewhat obtainable one. Although you already did 500 Forager, so you have a lot to offset with 500 max Forager. Because doing it without max Forager, you can't make like any of the 70 pots. Which leaves a lot of holes between everything. It's one of the biggest benefits of plus 500 Forager, or post 200 Forager. Because it fills a lot of hole in alchemy. Because you have access to every plus 70 potion. Which is pretty much just a pure skip if you don't do it that way. Like if you skip Forager, you would never bother making a 70 potion. Which leaves a lot of holes in like this area right here. How many hours would you say to get to where we are right now? Well, we know exactly how many we played. We are currently at 1,448 hours right now. Though only around 1,350 was specifically on this account. The other 100-ish was probably split between the other two. Because we do have 2 mid-game accounts that are at level 600 something. I've been playing just to have, in case there's ever enough diversity between the classes, I want to have all 3. So I've been slowly getting them up. They have half the quests done in the game right now. I do eventually want to get them to all quests completed. And currently they're just AFKing their production skill. So the Guardian is trying to get 500 Bone Right, and the Hammer Mage is trying to get 500 Stonemason right now. They also already have Lost and Found completed, which took forever. It took like a month and a half of AFKing to do Lost and Found. It took so long. It took me like an extra week than I originally guesstimated as well. Because sometimes you forget to go switch out the material, or you don't have enough on you, or you forget to get the knowledge point. Or you end up overfilling a little. So it went like a whole week overestimate. But no, to get to 200 all, if your goal was to only get to 200 all, including Stonewall Hill, I believe you could do it in under 1,000 hours. 200 all in every chapter, plus 1,000 combat under the new system. I think you can do it under 1,000 hours. Is where I would probably place it. If that was like your only goal and that was like all you were going for. Which is pretty much max in this game. Which isn't too bad. Like to compare to old school RuneScape, I think average max in that game is like closer to 2,000, 2,500 hours. Like the way you would realistically max. Whereas in this game, if that was your goal, it would take about 1,000 to maybe 1,500, I guess. Somewhere around there. If we were just trying to get exactly 200 all. The reason it took us so much longer is obviously we have a lot of skills that are way above 200. Because even something like a 250 is like getting 200 twice. With about how long it takes. Like every 250 we have is basically 200s in that skill. Alright, this might actually be the last kill we need to do for now. Not in the sense that it's our last kill. But in the sense that we can start doing the other method now. Though my log amount is going to be a little bit off. But hey, we finally get to do Gather XP. The title's a lie. But it's mostly because of where it's going to fall by the end of this. So we are going to get a small amount here. More than 0. But this is the other method that we have to do after our combat. It's one of the reasons why we even have to do the combat to begin with. Also, we just misclicked so hard right there. Oh yeah, Brighter Shore Central. Not sure if you're still here, but did you hear about the beta thing probably dropping tomorrow? Not sure if you already have access to it or not. Though then again, they probably haven't populated for anyone yet. But Samuel ended up mentioning that earlier. That they're implementing a bunch of the feedback tomorrow. Maybe, he said. There was like 3 maybes there, but it should be tomorrow, hopefully. Also, I know we don't have 2 to 3 combat right now. I'm doing this without a fear potion. So we're eventually going to be getting it, just naturally. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they end up doing as far as feedback. The 2 that I assume would be in there is raid dens are probably being rebalanced a bit. Because they were really bad in the current state of beta. The other thing is, I'm pretty sure they're nerfing alchemy buffs that they did. They made some level ranges for alchemy so absurdly free. I assume they're going to be adjusting that to a more realistic number. Because they made some potions profit like 2 times to 4 times as much compared to the current state of the game where they like half your cash or a third your cash. We'll have to wait and see exactly what they end up doing for it. But there was a lot of new alchemy ingredients that were way too cheap from the shop. I assume they're going to be adjusting. I just realized Rockstat's doing the other way around. Is that more efficient? I never paid too much attention to it. It might actually be. I never really thought about that from going the other way direction. And I can give it a shot and see. I never actually tested to see if it's more efficient one way or the other. I just always did the pattern that I liked. Yeah, all of the new reagents they added were absurdly cheap. Like, things that cost, like, up to 15 silver before, as low as, like, 3 silver each. But yeah, honestly, that's one of the main reasons I even want it, regardless of what they do to the alchemy or not. One of the reasons I even want to get alchemy up is for 10% XP potion for mining. Those things are so absurdly good for how slow those skills are to train. I said, hello, New Creamy! Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. But I'm gonna try something. I didn't realize that until Rockstat started doing that. But I think going clockwise is 1 tile quicker than going counterclockwise. I never paid much attention to that in this room. But there's one really specific part where I think you save 1 tile by going clockwise. Oh yeah, we've been going up a lot in overall ranks, mostly because we finally did combat. We're as high as 12, though Shuriken has been playing a lot recently. One of the things that actually made me fall behind a little bit is, oh, that's not what I wanted. No, go back, go back. No, go back! The main thing that made me fall behind is I actually did the first time bonus for everything in the game. Like, everything, including passives. Look at this. The other day, we went through and did literally every single first time bonus. Like, every single one, even for production and stuff like that. Like, up to level 200. Not the ones post 200. But every single one up to 200 we've done. Oh, no! You still have to go down that tile. Never mind. Doing it the other way around doesn't save you a tile. It does make it so you don't have to manual click as often, though, I do have to say. But it doesn't save a tile, though. Let's see. Does Rockstat do the efficient thing or not? Or is he just auto-clicking on everything? Yep, he's just clicking on everything. Oh, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Interesting. Maybe I will start doing it clockwise, though. The main benefit of doing it clockwise is, you have to manual click way less. You only have to manual click once for clockwise. Whereas I think you have to manual click 4 times for counterclockwise. Joined by a wild Tacet. Hello, hello. Oh, wrong person. Yeah, we're almost there. And then we'll go get our combat level if we get the other one first. You got back into old school RuneScape PVM? Actually, I've been doing that lately. Not sure if you were here yesterday, or not the PVM part. But I did finally start doing the Castle Wars grind on the side. I still didn't renew membership, but we are in Castle Wars. We got 110 tickets since yesterday. And we need like 5,000-ish. We started at like 600. I know that stack doesn't say 600. My boots I'm wearing are 400. So we're technically at like 710 right now. Out of like 5,000-ish. Gosh, I just multi-misclick there? I hate when I do that. Honestly, I kind of like my other method. I'm fine with manual clicking a billion times. Because after seeing where the other drop-off is, it's tile neutral regardless what direction you go. So I'd rather stick with the way I've always done it. Because they're both tile neutral and I know the other one better. Do the capes make you feel good about getting all the capes? Honestly, I haven't really cared about the capes too much yet. We keep changing our cape based on what season we're in. We had like our early game cape, then our finished all quest cape, then we had the 200 all grind cape, and now we have the post 200 cape that we're wearing now, which will eventually be the 200 all Mines of Matubin cape. And after that, I'm probably not putting on another cape until we have the 2,500 combat cape or the 500 all for chapter cape. After the 200 all Mines of Matubin cape for our post 200 cape. Unless they add an actual max cape to the game for 200 all. Because they mentioned the other day that they consider everything beyond 200 as basically just cosmetic. In the sense that 200 all is basically max. So I'm curious if they're ever going to release a max keep for 200 all. I highly doubt they ever would for 500 all. But it would be cool if they added one for like 50, 100, 200. I just don't think they would ever do a 500 one. I don't think they ever expect anyone to get 500 all. Someone will. There'll be at least one, if not multiple people who will. But barely. That would take so long. Like, we're talking like years from now. Especially if they had like 3-4 chapters within that time. You did 219 Tormented Demons task and now an Araxar? Nice. I am so dry on Tormented Demons right now. It's one of the things that made me quit too. I have like no good spec weapon for PVM. And I'm over 1,500 kills since my last Burning Claw on them. It's a 1 in 500 drop. I only got one, but you need 2 pieces to be able to make the full thing. So I'm like 3 times over drop rate for a 1 in 500 on them. Killing 500 of them is not quick. They were all on task though. I wouldn't do any off task. They're already slow enough on task. There we go, we got our wood cane level. Alright, we can go back to killing now. Alright, seems like every single goal we wanted to get done, we got done today then. On our shorter stream for today. Because all we gotta do now is get our combat level. But tomorrow, supposedly, if they're doing the beta update, we're gonna be going a lot longer tomorrow. Might be one of our longer streams in a while. There's a couple things I just definitively want to be done tomorrow with. But one of those is if they do the beta update. The beta update, of course. But I really want to try to finish out pretty much most of Hope Forest. Like 207 Scout, 208 Gather, and 208 Woodcutting. Can we do all that in one day? No. But I want to poke at something. At least pick one and just completely finish it, if not two. Alright, there we go. 203, 203. I guess the only thing left to do now is go do all the planks we have. Just so we don't have them all in the bank. Or at least do some of them. Not sure if I could do all of them right now. I forgot how many we have. I know is however many I have is how many we got this stream. Because I made sure not to do any more beyond that. Or, you know, I already cleared out the bank completely. Alright, this is what our carpenter bank's looking like, by the way. I've been banking quite a few of these. Not all of them, though. We're up to 1,166 pine poles. These go all the way to 400, so I actually do need them. So I've been banking a little bit more of them. Not all of them, but a good number of them. I want to say like 60% of them? 50%? 40%? I don't know. Some amount of number. Hey, Yusuf is here as well. Well, say many are in the bank. If it doesn't look too bad, maybe we'll do them now. Otherwise, I'll just do them later off stream. I just want to see what the damage is like. If nothing else, we gotta at least use our double knowledge meter. Can't just leave that sitting there. Or can we? We can go put it into smithing or something. You're at 1019 KC with only one synapse. That is one thing I did get lucky on them on. Well, not really lucky, but I got like on drop rate. Like I didn't go dry on them. It's kind of funny because during the league, I actually had the exact inverse luck. I didn't get a single synapse during league. But I ended up getting like 7 burning claws. Which is rather ironic given that's the only thing I can't get in the main game. Found it really funny. But the last league they had, we got only burning claws and no synapses. In the main game, I only get synapses and no burning claws. But synapses mean nothing on an Iron Man account. All they do is just sit in your bank and rot. There are so little, I actually put one in my storage rift. Because there's like a thing that you need like a dark light for, or ember light, whatever it's called. Not ember light. The one before ember light, arc light. But you need like an arc light for it, so I made it into an ember light. Which is like 50 mil to 80 mil or whatever they are these days. Even though you only need the free object in order to do the clue step. I put the really expensive one in there because why not? I have too many of them. Catch you later, Huckleberry Dew. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we're going to be ending soon as well. I mostly just want to see how many are in my bank right now. And probably finish out this knowledge meter. So we'll go until we have 200% knowledge and then probably call it for today. But we will be back tomorrow for a much, much longer stream. Monday's normally our shorter stream. But on Tuesday tomorrow, hopefully we get the beta update. And I want to almost finish out Hope Forest tomorrow. Oh yeah, we're definitely not doing all this now. Oh, never mind. Well, I guess we'll end it here for now then. Gosh, there's like an entire like hour and a half, especially if I want to go bank them. Oh gosh, that's not happening right now. It did not feel like we got that many. How on earth did we get like 250 logs today? Really? You tell me we got 250 this stream? That did not feel like 250. But anyways, guys. I think we're going to be heading out for now too. Go grab dinner. But we will be back to a full normal stream tomorrow. Maybe even a little bit longer if we're going to be doing the beta and really try to finish out Hope Forest. Because the main goals that we need for Hope Forest in the near future is 207 Scout, so 4 more levels, 208 Gather, so 4 more levels as well, and 208 Woodcutter, which is 5 more levels. And Carpenter, I guess technically 224, but we'll kind of get there automatically through all the knowledge and everything while we're in the area. But that's pretty much our game plan. 4 levels, and 5 levels in those 3 skills. Is that all doable in one day? Probably not, but that's what we're working towards right now. I'll try clearing at least like 2 of them if we can. Like, at least finish out the combat woodcutting. And then do gather separately probably the following day or something. But yeah, tomorrow we're probably going to finish 207 Scout and 208 woodcutting. I think will be our goal then. which will also by product get us to 205 and a half gatherer probably, or somewhere around there. But that'll be the game plan. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And yeah, supposedly, maybe, we have a patch tomorrow with 3 maybes. But patch tomorrow, that should be updating the beta, and we'll go test every single thing that happens and go from there and see what happens then. And then just keep going back to the main server and go grind then. But that's the game plan. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.